it's fine. I mean, at least, I mean, the picture you selected is good because it's Livia Sverra, and she's the female general secretary of the European Transport Workers Federation. So she's a good union leader, and she's very much promoting, so to say, women employment in the transport sector. So it's a good picture, but it's just not, but it's fine. So maybe to move to my slide, if, yeah. And then, yeah, I'm, as you already introduced myself, I'm Inga-Lena Heinisch. I work at the ITF, the International Transport Workers Federation. And on to the next slide, please. Quickly, what is the ITF? The ITF is the Global Union for All Transport Workers. It's a global union federation. We represent 18 million transport workers. We have over 700 affiliated unions worldwide in 153 countries. We have 14 offices globally, and the ETF is, so to say, our European arm sister organization. And they are the respective social partner at European level involved in the Women in Rail initiative. And we are working quite closely at European level and international level on women's employment. We represent all transport sectors, including rail, and we also represent all categories of workers. So formal, full-time, part-time, precarious, informal, and also all other non-standard forms of employment. Next slide, please. And now, so to say, onto the topic itself, strengthening women's inclusion in rail is one of the key areas of our work at ITF, but also within, so to say, the area I'm working, so inland transport. As it was already mentioned, we all know that women railway workers face various barriers when it comes to entering and remaining in the industry. And women also tend to work often in administrative roles, ticketing services, in stations, in catering, in cleaning, and they are also often lower paid and in more precarious positions than men in railways. However, as it was mentioned before, there's very little data and knowledge actually available about the workplace reality of women railway workers. And that's why we carried out an online survey amongst our women railway workers and members last year. The objective of this survey was to find out what role women workers are employed in, where they are employed, under what type of contracts they are employed, and then also what issues and barriers they actually face in the workplaces. And then very important part of this survey was that we not only, so to say, wanted to get a picture of the reality of the women workers, but we also wanted to hear from them what changes are needed to make the railway sector more accommodating or more attractive for women workers. Here on this slide, you see, so to say, a few statistics about our survey, who responded. In total, we received 4,600 responses from women railway workers in 56 countries. 2/3 of the respondents were from the Global South, so Africa, Asia, and Latin America. But we also received many responses from Europe, and actually together with our colleagues from the ETF, we are at the moment, so to say, looking into the European data to see which elements of this data can be used for the social partner discussions around women in rail. So it's really useful to, so to say, on the one hand, have the global picture, but then also to see how we can use certain regional elements to support work of our regional colleagues on gender employment in rail. And just to say, what was really interesting was also that 1/4 of the respondents were actually so-called young women railway workers under 35. So we really got a very good response rate. Often our surveys are not that well responded, but here it was really a positive experience. And what was interesting was that we found that there is not much differences in answers depending on the subsector, age group, or other categories. And although women work in very different circumstances around the world and throughout the different sectors, because we also received sector responses from the different subsectors in Wales, in the end, the experiences and the issues and barriers women workers identified are very similar. Next slide, please. Here is a summary of the key findings. To keep it short, I will not elaborate on all 6 of the key findings. However, I would like to point out that most women indicated they enjoyed their work, they find it rewarding and meaningful, and would also recommend railway work to other women. However, the respondents, so to say, indicated that they are often exposed to difficult conditions that undermine their safety and security at work. And this makes it really hard for them to do the work, or it makes it harder for them to do the work well, which they value. And one of the main, so to say, contributors or issues at work identified was also insufficient staffing and lone working. And I will share the link to the report, because lone working and staffing really increases the insecurity of women at work, and is, so to say, one of the causes or so to say, leading to many other issues women identified as barriers to their work or employment in the sector. Other issues reported were lack of safety at work, stress, fatigue, poor pay and benefits, lack of work-life balance. That was a major issue highlighted in this survey. Women also spoke about the lack of rest and sanitation facilities, lack of career progression or promotion, and gender-based discrimination, and this very male-dominated culture, which was mentioned before. And for us as a Global Trade Union Federation, it was also worryingly to see that almost 1 in 10 of the responses, or of the women who responded, said that they experienced discrimination around their trade union membership. And this is something very worrying, because there should be freedom of association. As I said, I will share the link so that everyone can look into, so to say, the key findings in more detail. Just one more remark, because previous speakers mentioned about, so to say, women passengers. And what was interesting, that as part of our survey, we also looked into the commute of women railway workers to and from work. And this shows that, so to say, women workers on the one hand are women workers, but they are also women passengers. And they use the women who responded to our survey, almost 40% said that public transport is the primary mode of their commute to and from work. And as we know, women railway workers often work at odd hours. 32% said that public transport was not always available due to late or early shifts. And this again adds to the lack of their safety at work or around their work. So the issue of, so to say, women passengers, but then also women workers being women passengers is quite interesting. And maybe that's something to look into more detail in the course of this project. And just to sum up on the next slide, the so to say main reason why we did this survey last year was really our way as trade unions to bridge the gender data gap in Wales. It was also interesting to see that this high number of respondents really indicated that there is a strong support from women railway workers to act and lead on the change which is needed in the sector. And based on the findings, we developed an action plan to promote women's inclusion in Wales. This plan considers the role of employers, companies, and unions to strengthen access rights, equality, and decent work of women in Wales. And it was mentioned before by Lindsay from the UITP, we already have a joint agreement on strengthening women's employment and equal opportunities in urban public transport, where ITF and UITP are closely working together on it. And it's a comprehensive agreement which really aims at overcoming the barriers in urban public transport. And so to say, from ITF's perspective and the rail perspective, we really welcome this opportunity for social partners to work together and also to use the data of our survey and other available data to make improvements really in the working lives of women in rail. And yeah, I would like to thank the UIC to have this opportunity to present our survey findings at your event, and we look forward to contributing to your project in the coming year. Thank you.